If you live in the Philippines, it's impossible that you haven't ridden one of these before, and that is the jeepney, or in short, Jeep. Every Filipino has likely used them. Commuters, every student, workers, well, even foreigners, because they just want to experience Filipino culture. Just like us Filipinos wanting to try the bullet train in Japan, kasi walang bullet train dito sa Pilipinas, diba? That's because the jeepney is one of the primary vehicles of transportation in virtually every part of the Philippines, until these modern days. What do I mean? Okay, in 2017, the Department of Transportation, or the DOTR, launched the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program to modernize and improve the public transport system, and this includes large buses, taxis, ride booking apps, and of course, the jeepney. So it affects all PUVs, but what's this specifically about the jeepney? That's because apart from the other PUVs, the jeepney as we know it is going to be replaced, or as we hear more often, phased out. The jeepney's history goes back to World War II. When the war ended, the Americans left behind a huge number of surplus American jeeps, which some Filipinos modified into transport vehicles. So they lengthened the jeeps and fitted them with seats and then creatively designed by their owners, then called the jeepney, a combination of jeep and jitney. And over the decades, the jeepneys became a cultural symbol, even adding to the national identity itself. Jeepneys also helped in tourism. Maybe not for Filipinos themselves, but tourists would probably adore those unique and colorful designs. Maybe riding a jeepney just to experience what it feels like. Parang nga yung excitement sa bullet train. The jeepney is also uniquely Filipino that once you see it, you'll know that yes, it's the Philippines. Very Pinoy. Definitely a piece of culture and history. But the modernization program points out that jeepneys have issues. Firstly, many jeepneys are old and unsafe and uncomfortable. Secondly, traditional jeepneys contribute to air pollution due to their old engines and inefficient fuel consumption. Now, the program aims to replace these with modern, eco-friendly vehicles to reduce emissions and hopefully improve air quality. Now, the program wants to introduce more reliable vehicles and improve scheduling and route systems para mas efficient. As for the jeepney vehicle itself, that means most of it would be replaced. Some jeepneys are literally falling apart. Smoke belching, irregular schedules. That's why you can end up waiting sa paradahan ng sobrang tagal, not even knowing kung kailan yung next na jeep or kung darating pa ba, diba? On the surface, the jeepney modernization program sounds all good. However, the main issue that people are protesting about the modernization program is the threat to the livelihoods of the jeepney drivers and operators. They also argue that the financial assistance provided by the government is insufficient and that the program favors larger, yung mas mayaman na operators and over smaller independent drivers. Another issue is the arguably very tight deadline set. The program requires jeepney operators to modernize their vehicles and join cooperatives by 2024. Many argue that the timeline is too short and does not consider the financial constraints and challenges faced by the drivers. For example, each jeep can cost up to 2.8 million pesos. So for operators, this amount would be very expensive, and that means likely they would only be able to afford a few modern jeepneys. That means the less need for drivers. So that means maraming drivers ang mawawalan ng trabaho. Considering this, the Department of Transportation offers a subsidy amounting to 160,000 pesos per jeepney, which seems considerably low in regards to the huge number of jeepneys that has to be replaced or modernized. And since its implementation in 2017, the government has set another deadline in 2024. This time, no extensions. And if jeepney operators fail to meet this deadline, their franchises may be revoked and their vehicles would be impounded. There are also concerns about the alleged lack of consultation with the stakeholders, like not including the opinion of jeepney drivers themselves in the decision-making process. Kaya parang many feel like their voices weren't heard in the development of the program. However, some newer and updated models of jeepneys would actually be retained, but surely outdated jeepneys would be replaced. Now with the program, we will see more of these minibuses or modern jeeps. Well, actually, in fact, this has already been happening. That's why nowadays in some areas, mas marami tayong nakikita na modern jeeps kaysa dun sa traditional ones. The whole idea of the modern jeep is nice. Improved safety, passenger comfort, reduced air pollution, better reliability, but it would also be sad to see something that had existed for a long time that's kind of intertwined with the national consciousness just kind of go away. So how do you feel about this?